Hey, what's going on, guys? So we just got a fresh hotfix for Doom the Dark Ages. The biggest fix here is the chain spear issue. Some players were seeing its inputs show up as D, which is the kind of bug that makes the controls feel broken even when you are doing everything right. The trade-off is that the fix resets all player bindings back to default. So if you spent time customizing your controls, you will need to go back in and set those again. That is a little annoying, sure, but it is still better than having one of the core tools in the game acting like it is missing entirely. They also cleaned up two progression blockers that could hit at the worst possible time. In Hell's Core, dying in combat could leave some players stuck behind a red wall that blocked progress, and the exact same kind of problem could happen in Osseus too. That is one of those issues where the game is not crashing, but it is still completely stopping you from moving forward, which can be even more frustrating because you think you are fine until you suddenly are not. Fixing both of those is a big deal for anyone replaying sections or pushing through the campaign at a steady pace. There is also a crash cleanup pass in this hotfix. The official wording says it fixes a number of the most prevalent crashes, which is exactly the sort of thing you want to hear from a patch like this. A lot of the time, the smaller quality of life bugs get the attention first, but crash fixes matter just as much because they protect the whole experience. If a game is stable, players usually forgive a lot more. If it keeps dropping out on you, nothing else really matters until that gets sorted. What makes this update interesting is that the devs also called out a handful of other issues that they know about already, even if they are not all fully solved in this specific hotfix. For example, there is the one where the main menu music can keep playing during combat in the Repertorium after a restart, and the suggested fix is to use the jukebox if that happens. They also mentioned a couple of situations where Chain Spear and Shield Saw can stop responding, including after the primary weapon runs out of ammo during Chain Spear attacks, or after interacting with a hollow shrine. In those cases, the workarounds are things like switching weapons, using a melee attack, or loading the most recent checkpoint. There are a few more things on that list too. Master arenas may not spawn enemies when you repeat them multiple times, and the fix there is to load the previous checkpoint so the spawns come back. Then there is the Master Slayer trial timer display, which can get out of sync if you change the game speed setting, and the fix is to restore game speed to default. So this is one of those patches that is not just about one single issue. It is really about smoothing out a bunch of pain points that were slipping through in different parts of the game. And that is really the story here. It is not the kind of update that completely changes how the game plays, but it does clear out a bunch of problems that could seriously mess with the flow. The control binding bug alone would have been enough to make people stop and double check everything. And the red wall progression fixes are the sort of thing that save a lot of wasted time. Add in the crash fixes and the extra known issues with workarounds, and you get a patch that feels very focused on making the game behave the way it should have in the first place.